Welcome back to my channel, the best place for ambitious millennial professionals who feel stuck in their careers to find their dream careers. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to decode a job description, soft skills and hard skills, so that you can write the best resumes possible. Be sure to stick around since we're going to actually go into a job description together to break down the whole thing. Also, be sure to stay until the very end because there's one key step that I'm going to share with you that will help you get past the ATS and catch the eyes of the hiring manager every time. Make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell to receive regular updates on all things related to career change. Also, join my Facebook group called Career Change Advice, where you can chat with like-minded people who are interested in making their careers work for them. Hi, I'm Dr. John Tam. I have a PhD in sociology from the University of Oxford, and I'm passionate about helping millennial professionals find their dream careers through gaining clarity and building soft skills. So, without further ado, here's how you decode a job description and break down the soft skills and hard skills you need to emphasize on your resume. First of all, don't hate the applicant tracking system, or what people call the ATS. The ATS is essentially a robot that a lot of people say, like, that's what filters your application and that's why no one ever sees your resume and so on. You see that around on LinkedIn all the time, and career coaches and job seekers talk about it all the time. However, the fact of the matter is the ATS is simply just a tool, just like any other tool. And at the end of the day, the tool is used to help the hiring manager or the recruiter figure out who's the right person and who's not the right person for the job. So there are ways for them to program the ATS to select and filter people so that they get the right candidates, because at the end of the day, it's a tool that's used to make their lives easier, and it's there to serve a purpose, and we just got to play the game with the ATS in mind. Now, when you think about it, the ATS isn't that hard to get around, because the whole point is they want to find the right person for the right job, and therefore what you need to do is to identify a target. What target is it that you want to apply for, and then go for it, right? And basically tailor everything you need, whether it's the soft skills or the hard skills, to that specific job. And I would highly recommend you to check out my video on career exploration, which I'll put in the cards above. And it breaks down, okay, how are you to find a job? How are you to find a career? And how are you to figure out the next steps in this process? Basically, you break down exactly what soft skills and hard skills you need to promote for your target. The second point is you need to understand the anatomy of a job description, and a job description typically has three parts. The first part is the company and organization description, where it breaks down, what's the company, where are they at, and what do they do. The second part are the job functions of that specific job and what that job entails, right? The third part are the job requirements, which is basically what do you need to get into that job? What are the qualifications? What are the BRs and PRs, which is my next point. The third point is BRs and PRs. BR stands for basic requirements, and PR stands for preferred requirements. And to differentiate the two, you need to look at the keywords, right? And BR keywords would be like must-have, mandatory, minimum. When you see these words, those are basic requirements. If you don't fulfill them, you basically shouldn't apply for the job. PR keywords would be preference would be given to, ideally have, and it's basically the preferred requirements that will separate you from the other candidates if you interview for that job. And even though the BRs and PRs are typically listed in the job description, the best way to actually find out and learn more whether you are a good fit for a job or not, whether you should even apply for a job or not, is actually to conduct informational interviews. And if you don't know what informational interviews are, I'm going to put in the cards above the informational interview video that I have that breaks down the whole process on how to conduct one, and what questions you should ask and what questions you shouldn't ask, what's the etiquette, and so on. Did you know about the BRs and PRs? Let me know in the comments below. The fourth point is that you need to read through the description to find the hard skills and soft skills and then highlight them. So let's hop onto the computer right now and take a look and break down the whole process on how to do it. So right now I'm looking at a job posting for a 3D programmer, and I downloaded it as a PDF just so that's more convenient to highlight and stuff. You don't have to do that, totally up to you. But essentially, for this job position as a 3D programmer at Ubisoft Toronto, which is a video game company in Toronto, there's a posting. And so let's look at how it usually goes, these postings, right? So first of all, some brief information, what position, and then it talks about its mission. It talks about what it's like to be a 3D programmer in Ubisoft Toronto. It talks about a typical day in the life of a 3D programmer at Ubisoft Toronto, what it takes to make it, and its offer, why you should join them, and the call to action for you to join them, right? And this is a pretty good job posting. It has all the essential elements. You can see some other job postings online that are not as complete as this one. So this is actually pretty well written and clearly well thought through. Now, when you look at this, you can look at, oh, okay, on being a 3D programmer at Ubisoft Toronto, I highlighted the parts which are essential to the role. And so, for example here, for a AAA game, what's most important is its visuals and its performance. So I had to look at what a AAA game is, and it's pretty much like a game with a huge budget. So you can see some of the games up here, right? Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Splinter Cell, Watch Dogs, etc. So these are top games in the market if you follow the gaming market, right? Yeah, so you need exceptional math skills. Oh, I forgot to highlight this. Exceptional math skills, sharp eye for detail, and knowledge of GPUs, and fundamental code to deliver a stunning experience. Pretty much that's what this job is about. You need to collaborate a little bit, and you need to work well with technical artists to transform their vision into code. Also, what you care primarily about is image quality, and you need to have a good understanding of physics, of lighting, and a working knowledge of physically based shading. And you gotta also have, be able to take feedback. Essentially, that's what this paragraph is about. This sentence is about. Now, if you look at the daily life of a 3D programmer at Ubisoft Toronto, the yellow stuff is pretty much what you need to do on a daily basis. Program code, explore hardware, meet with artists, review code, stay at the forefront of your field, right? Here it says you need to look at literature, but essentially the point is to stay at the forefront. And you also can attend a 3D tech talk by your colleagues or others, or maybe even yourself. Give one yourself. What it takes to make it. So here are the essentials. You need to have an undergraduate degree in computer science, computer engineering, or equivalent, right? Whatever equivalent means is open to interpretation. And so essentially you would probably figure that out through your informational interviews or your networking. And basically by inquiring about it and understanding, hey, what are you looking for? I don't have this degree, but I've got a lot of background in code, right? And you've worked on that. Is that acceptable? It's okay to ask. Because essentially when it comes to artistic stuff, they want someone who can just code and do it well, and also be able to deliver very impressive visuals. The degree is kind of secondary in this case. So you can inquire about it, because anytime you see anything about like equivalent, like what does that mean? A minimum of 5 years experience in general programming. So you would know that this is not exactly an entry level. This is after you've got 5 years of experience under your belt. So you would probably, if you can meet that, great. If you can't, you will probably find out with a knockout question. Or you can also once again inquire, like, hey, is it 5 years? Is that a hard 5 years, or is that negotiable, right? And to what extent is 5 years? Like, can you piece it together, right? Ideally in the game industry, so I'll put that in green because that's preferable. And if you look here, with 3 years in graphics programming, having shipped a video game is an asset. So that's another thing that's preferable but not necessary. So these are things that will separate you from your competition. Now, proficiency in C++, it's basically obviously that that's the basic code that they're using, C++. Also here they say they want you to have experience in HLSL, DirectX, and experience in 3D programming for Xbox One, PS4, and/or PC, with these things at the back as well. Whenever you see experience, it's generally preferable. They're not setting anything hard on it. Essentially, if you have experience in it, you're gonna separate yourself even further. Every time you see understanding, experience, stuff that's not hard, solid qualification stuff, you can argue your case. Like, how do you even justify your understanding of a modern GPU rendering pipeline, right? It's not through a degree, so it's basically through your portfolio and your experience. And the skill that you're able to show them, right? So that's important as well. But I wouldn't say reading from here, I wouldn't say it's a make or break. Understanding experience. So they're not very specific about it, which means it's a preferable. You are a philomath, right? A lover of maths. So you got to be a math head. And if you are, go for it, right? But once again, it's one of those fluff preferable terms. Proficiency to communicate with all disciplines and to support and elevate the team, right? For visuals and performance. So once again, these are soft skills, right? Soft skills, that's difficult to measure, and you're creative and thirsty for innovation. Once again, it's one of those soft, fluffy things. So these are all preferable, and if you can communicate it, that'll be awesome. So the end here is, you gotta read it carefully because, and I'll explain in a second. The end here, basically there's nothing special that really jumps out but you just gotta read it, you gotta understand it. Because sometimes they will tell you to put a keyword in there and they'll just search the keyword. So if they put the keywords like, remember to put the keyword bazinga in your resume, then you better put bazinga in your resume, right? And sometimes they will throw you off with these keywords just to sort out who is actually reading the descriptions and who is not reading the descriptions. So you got to be careful about that. Now let's go back to here. Obviously, the key ones are the yellow ones right now, and the yellow highlights are also what you're going to be doing. The green ones are more optional, and you should aim for, if you can, hit all the yellow ones. Definitely hit all the yellow ones. But once again, equivalent is kind of I'd probably highlight that in green because it's like, what does that mean? And that is something for you to explore if you are going for this job. But anything like, minimum 5 years of experience, anytime you say minimum, it's generally pretty solid. But everything else is like, seems pretty open, and it depends on your portfolio. So if you're able to check off about 75% of this, of the green stuff, and if you can check off all the yellow stuff, then you can definitely apply. Sometimes some people would even say if you can check off 75% of the yellow stuff, then go for it, right? So essentially it depends on the job, but based on breaking down this job description, this is what I would be recommending. Now, here is a super tip for you to really see what keywords jump out. So I've already done the work for you. If you look at text edit, I've basically copied everything from up top here, from the beginning on being a 3D programmer at Ubisoft Toronto, all the way down to the end here, right? And basically I copied that, and I went to a website called, you basically find any word cloud generator. I found this one called jasondavies.com/wordcloud, and it seems pretty straightforward. Go there, grab the text, boom, paste it, press go, and this is basically all the words that pop up that consistently in the job description. And sometimes it will give you a better understanding of what the keywords are because it will pop for you. So understanding that one's kind of tough. But programmer, definitely programmer. See, code is important. Programming is important. Artists, visuals, video, lighting. Yeah, so sometimes this would really help, sometimes not so much. In this case, it helped a little bit, and that's pretty useful. Now, one more thing I would say is definitely if you are going to walk into an interview or put something in your resume, definitely figure out what all the acronyms mean. So here it says, AAA game. Okay, what does a AAA game mean if you don't know what that is, right? And if you see any of the, like, what's a BRDF? If you don't know what that is, and in my case, I don't know what a BRDF is, or HLSL, DirectX, I know it's like the Windows, what Windows uses to run 3D stuff in the background, but that's just from my own gaming experience, right? You need to figure out what those things mean because they can pop out as knockout questions or even in the interview. So yeah, so this is just a quick way to break down a job description. All right, so now that we've broken down the job description and what we need to have in there and what not to have in there, and also using the word cloud to break it down for you, another awesome thing that you can do with the word cloud is actually copy several similar job descriptions for like a similar position. So for example, if you apply for Ubisoft and you take the same thing for Squaresoft and you take the same thing for whatever EB Games, for example, and you take all those job descriptions for UX designer, and then you put it into a word cloud and then you process it. Basically, all those words would be those that you should have in your job description and the essential commonalities for this job position. My fifth and final tip is to actually take those terms, the BRs and PRs, the things that we highlighted and the things that came out in the word cloud, and sprinkle those terms liberally on your resume, cover letter, LinkedIn. And basically, you need to position yourself as the solution to the problem that they're facing, what they need. And so essentially, you need to position yourself as a problem solver for the target job, right? You are the perfect person for the job. You need to advertise that on your resume, on your cover letter, on your LinkedIn, and pretty much any other social media platform that you're gonna be using that you may be found on. And the best way to do that is to actually conduct a personal SWOT analysis so that you know how to position yourself, and I'll put a video on that in the cards above. So now that you know what soft skills and hard skills to advertise, the key thing is to actually be in a career path that is satisfying for you. And if you're actually doing work and you're applying for jobs that you actually don't like and you're not sure if that's your right career path, I highly recommend you to check out my free personality test, which I'll put in the details below, which breaks down what job characteristics are the best fit for your personality. So once again, join my Facebook group, Career Change Advice, so that you can chat with like-minded individuals who are interested in making their careers work for them and not the other way around. In my next video, I'm going to teach you how to implement these soft skills and hard skills on your resume. So how to actually write that resume out and include the soft skills and hard skills. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell for updates for when that video comes out. Also, leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to give this video a like and share it with your network if you found this to be valuable. Take care.